All right, it's the day before the big grand opening. We're here with the CEO of Happy Valley, um, Michael Reardon, Chris McCarthy, my co-host,
Good morning, Gloucester.
and I'm your host, Joey Shimataro. Um, so, what is gonna? Well, first of all, why don't you explain what is Happy Valley? Is it a marijuana growing facility, a dispensary, both? What is Happy Valley?
So we are, in our industry, we're known as a vertically integrated operator. So that means that we handle everything from growing the plant to creating every single product that we will then sell in our store. In our building here in Gloucester, we have it all under one roof. So we have 50,000 square feet, and over 40,000 of that is dedicated to cultivation growing space. So we take, for instance, of that 40,000 feet, about half of that we use to grow plants over a 3 month life cycle. Then after we harvest that plant, we can do a number of different things with it. Some of what we do with it is we package it up and put it into a nice glass jar and induction seal it and put it in this packaging. And that's the traditional marijuana flower buds that everyone's familiar with. Another thing that we can do is we can take the biomass of either high quality flower or even just other byproducts of the plant, and then we can process that through what we call a CO2 extraction and distillation method. And then that will lead us to what we have is basically different forms of cannabis oil. That cannabis oil can be from a very, very, very high grade of quality and purity that will lead to what would be an inhalant grade cannabis oil, which we'd put into a vape cart. And then the other thing that we do is we have lower grades of oil that's also have high quality that we would then put into edibles and other products that we make. So we make gummies, chocolates, tinctures. We make an assortment of products there in that building. So we do everything that we make is made right there in that building there in Gloucester. And then unlike other stores that are open in the state, we're just not a dispensary that caters to every need of every customer or patient in the state. Happy Valley store here in Gloucester is a cannabis retail store dedicated to selling the products that we've made in our building, and so we are you know a soup to nuts organization when it relates to the cannabis industry. We're doing it. Every single product that we sell, we're doing ourselves. We don't have any licensing deals.
Wow.
We don't have everything that we're doing is proprietary. It's our own formulations, our own SOPs, our own techniques,
Your own packaging.
our own packaging
So
design.
you won't see a different brand of in the store. It's all going to be your stuff.
So that's the intent of what we're doing with the launch of a brand. We're launching a brand. It's not just a company that we're doing. We're launching a brand. This brand has ambitions to grow throughout not only Massachusetts but across state lines.
So is this the first one? Do you own any other? Is the Happy Valley exist anywhere else?
So the Happy Valley has started in Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Wow. And so what made you decide to invest your money and invest in this community?
Well, my journey to New England as a young man out of Ohio started in '99. I met people and have lifelong friends that I met 20 years ago from here in Gloucester. So life took me away from New England in the mid 2000s. I ended up in South Carolina. From there, I ended up in the Bahamas for a decade. Ended up back in the States and ended up in cannabis. And initially, we weren't thinking about creating a company, a cannabis company for mass, but that's where we ended up. And we ended up here because the medical regulations here in Mass were going to produce a limited number of operators. So it seemed like a really good opportunity as a state to invest in. Then back in 2015, there was rumblings that we caught wind of that there was going to be a ballot initiative to pass adult use. And then all the other states that we were looking at that time didn't have any ability or anything in the works to lead to an adult use market. And that still is the case today. Massachusetts is still the only adult use market on the East Coast. So those are the two factors that led us to Mass, and then it was my friends from here in Gloucester when I ended up reconnecting, and not that I hadn't been in touch with them, but I didn't see them, every year. But I started traveling up here, started looking at sites around the state, and good friend of mine from here in the community, said, I think Gloucester would support a cultivation facility. I don't know about a store,
Yeah.
but I think it would support a cultivation facility. And then he introduced me to a local zoning attorney, Joel Favazza.
Yeah.
Reached out to Joel.
Seaside Legal.
Reached out to Joel, and Joel said that there was an ordinance in place, but they were in the process of redrafting it here in the city. So and then the Blackburn Industrial Park was a really nice park for us to have a facility that ended up being the size that it is, and that's how we ended up here. It just seemed like a really good fit for what we were looking for.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, where did the name come from? Because it's a really cool logo and sort of a catchy name. So what's the history behind that?
So my co-founding partner is a gentleman by the name of Eddie Loth, and he is from State College, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And State College, Pennsylvania, in Central PA, is known as Happy Valley.
Yeah.
When we started this idea, it wasn't even a company at that point.
Yeah.
It happened to be around a conference room table in Central PA. And we decided to name our LLC Happy Valley Ventures LLC.
There you go.
Because we're so original. And then when we got into actually this idea, got money behind it, got interest, we got educated on the industry, started narrowing our focus on what market to go after. It then became real that we had to come up with a name for the company, the name for the brand. And we just looked at each other, and you have to understand, as a Ohio boy from Columbus, Ohio, I don't like Penn State. At all. There's nothing about State College or Happy Valley that appeals to me at all. Okay, so, but Happy Valley, I don't know what it was. It just
kept coming back to it.
It kept coming back to
Yeah.
Happy Valley, and then we hired people that are really successful creatives and marketing people out of New York City, and we came to them with our name. And we were expecting them to not be on board with it, and they came back to us and they said, you know what, we exhausted all these creative minds and we couldn't come up with a better name.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
So anyways, that's how we ended up getting there, and believe it or not, when we actually ended up having a property for a while in Western Mass. In Amherst, I found out that there's a part of Western Mass known as Happy Valley.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that either. A lot of people on the eastern seaboard here in Mass don't know that parts of Western Mass, there's an area around Amherst that area is known as Happy Valley.
That's interesting.
So that was not where we came from, the idea. It really is, honestly, at this point, Happy Valley is just a state of mind for us.
There you go.
You know?
Well, once you get past Worcester, it's really, that's the Midwest.
You're getting close to Ohio, right?
It's New York.
Pretty much. It's really.
How about the key? Is there like a
So
message?
that honestly, that logo design is the second iteration of through years of just coming up with the right branding, and the key was presented to us. We love the play on words that we could do with unlock your experience as a tagline.
Nice.
We liked how it looked sophisticated. We liked that it was not what is typical in our industry. It wasn't some play off the leaf.
Yeah.
Right.
I love the mirror image of Happy Valley. I like the vertical element to it. There's just a lot of things that we felt had an impact as a mark.
Mm.
So that's how the key came about, and we were really thrilled with how the logo turned out.
Yeah, it is nice.
How long from start to finish from when you first started applying for permits? How long did that take?
Well, I think it took almost 2 years
Mm.
from start to finish. The city had a process of actually just finalizing their ordinance. And so we had to go through that a little bit, then we had to go through planning board, then we had to get through city council. And you have to understand, in 2016, the environment of cannabis in a public setting, a public hearing setting, in front of elected officials in the community is a lot different than it is today.
Mm.
There was a lot of the NIMBY, not in my backyard mentality, a lot of just fear from the unknown of what does it mean to have a cannabis company build a store or a facility in your community. So and so every community, and Gloucester being no different than any of the other communities I've been in front of, took a very cautious approach and asked a lot of questions and drafted their zoning in a way that they felt protected their community. So it took, so the process took a while, and then it took a while to build it. I mean, this building was built from the ground up.
50,000 square feet is no joke.
So it took us 18 months to build it. It took us probably 18 months to get through, the process. So here we are. From the moment I stepped in Blackburn Park, I think it was 5 years ago this month.
Yeah. But look at you now with the way the Massachusetts is, and only allowing, what would you say, like there's only allowed so many?
Well, in Massachusetts, they have created the regulations that come from the Cannabis Control Commission are so stringent that it's a barrier to entry. It's just very, very, very difficult to get through the process on a state level, let alone the fact that you got to get through it on a local level. There's a lot more communities willing to have cannabis in it than at any point since I've been in Mass right now. But that was not the case in 2016. I was asked to leave many public hearings across the state.
Yeah.
We don't want you.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah, like meaning
Wow.
we didn't even have to defer for a vote. It was time
Well,
to leave.
let's talk about some of the benefits. So, how many jobs will this create?
We're right now, as of today, I think we have 129 employees.
Whoa,
Wow.
that's an impact on a community.
Yes.
That's
100
big time.
Yeah, it's
And what are most like? Can you break down roughly, like, how many people are working in the growing part?
Sure. So we have roughly 30 employees on the retail side. We probably have in the cultivation side, we're close to 30 as well. We have another 30 that I would call technicians in our lab or in packaging or in production. So they're either participating in actually creating the products, packaging it, or delivering it.
Wow.
And then we have, executive level and management supervisor level positions as well. And then we have staff to take care of the facility from a building standpoint, from a ground standpoint.
So will you be wholesaling this as well, or so you'll be there's a shipping department?
Yeah, so we will be wholesaling as well. So we'll be taking our products just like they are here, and then we'll sell them to other retailers across the state.
I just thought about that, and I thought about a 40,000 square foot facility growing marijuana, and like trying to pump that all into like one little town. It's gonna go. Like, how many people would have to use?
Yeah, we're going to grow 10,000 pounds a year.
Yeah. That's
So I mean, if Gloucester can consume 10,000 pounds a year, then we're not wholesale.
That's a happy valley.
So come on,
right there.
Gloucester.
That is
This
a
not
happy valley.
exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, if we can sell 10,000 pounds here, I don't want to have a delivery van.
That's a happy
I
valley.
mean, there's the mandate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
that's
only 800 pounds a month, everyone.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, it's
break
200
it
pounds a
down.
week.
How much, like, what is a pound of, like, volume wise? What would a pound of marijuana look like?
A pound of marijuana is about this much.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 10,000 of those is all we need you to consume.
That's it. Well, let's get started. No.
Yeah. I actually went to your website. I know you'll get to your website and where people can go to find additional information, but I thought it was pretty neat. You have some great pictures on there of some of your employees. And I mean, this is the real deal. I mean, I almost looked like, it almost seemed like I was looking at like the CDC. I mean, you had, I guess these technicians, in a lab with beakers and
Oh yeah.
it's the real deal.
We have pieces of equipment in that lab that cost over $500,000.
Wow.
Single pieces.
Yeah.
Some of them we imported from Germany. It's state of the art lab. It's one of the nicest facilities in the industry in the whole country here in Gloucester.
So because it's all indoors, there is no downtime as far as growing. It's 12 months.
We're growing 24/7, 365.
You don't rely on the weather. It has nothing. No impact at all.
not,
There's
yeah.
no lights lights that lets light in.
We don't have a greenhouse. We don't have any natural light coming in. It's all controlled through the individual rooms where the plants are growing. So we have lights on the ceilings. We have tremendous investment in the HVAC equipment to control the humidity and the temperature exactly the way we want it at the exact time for that day for that plant.
So optimize everything.
3
months.
Yeah.
3 months.
I have a question because there are some people that I know that try to grow their own marijuana, and I heard through a friend that only the female plant produces the stuff that you could actually
That's correct.
make. Is it? Wow, that's interesting. I questioned whether she was.
The
right.
male plants will go to seed. So so if you ever had, for those of us who have consumed before it was legal, if there's anyone in this room who's done that, I can raise my hand.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So there would be marijuana that came compressed in like bricks from the street side of things for the last 30 years, and you would find all kinds of seeds in that bud. That was because they just grew whatever seeds they had, and it typically came out of South America, compressed bricks, and then shipped into our country. It's not high quality cannabis.
Oh, anything, because anything.
So yeah, there are
seed
plenty
is
of.
not
It would
giving
still
the
get you
benefit of
high.
what
It's
you
just
want.
you're gonna not have as good of experience, and you're gonna have to be. You don't. It's just not what you would want to do in a commercial facility.
So anything that you would get out of your place would only be female plants.
That's right.
Wow.
Oh wow! So like someone could like put half male plants and half female plants in a package, and they'd be getting 50%.
Well, that's not. It wouldn't work out that way. They
No,
just would get
you
a
know what I
lower.
mean?
They get a lower quality product. Is what they would end up
Okay.
with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is my math off? What am I doing?
No, the male and female might do something else than half off.
You do need the male to breed, though, even in cannabis.
See?
Right. Oh, here you know. So can we talk about any of the? What are some of the other benefits to the cities? That like, how about the tax dollars on that? Do you have? Can you share those numbers? Or?
So,
Well,
I
it's
mean,
public.
obviously, so the city is going to get, as regulated by the state, they get 3% as a sales tax. And then on top of it, there's what's known as a host community agreement, where there's a revenue sharing component to that, where the city will also get 3%, an additional 3% from that host community agreement. And then obviously we invested in a vacant piece of ground that now has a tax base that's increased significantly from the investment in the building. So those are the benefits. Obviously, I think there's an economic impact from producing 120 plus jobs. I think the majority of our staff lives in the Cape Ann area, if not Gloucester. I think it's close to 40%. I think a lot of those individuals actually were from this area. We've transplanted many from other parts of the state, or if we recruited from out west, that have chosen to live in Gloucester. And they're spending their money. They're getting a paycheck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I know a number of these breweries give tours of their facilities. Do you envision being able to give
We
tours?
just don't do that. And the
No.
reason being is if you come into our facility as a visitor and you have a reason to be there as a visitor, maybe you're a consultant that we brought in and we want you to take a look at something on our behalf, give us an opinion. You're going to come in as a visitor and you're going to have to put on a Tyvek suit. Then you're going to go through an air shower. Once you go through that air shower, you're then on what we call our production side of the facility. We are very, very stringent to make sure that we don't have any microbial pests get in on us.
Mhm.
So all the staff will come into work every day. They'll change into scrubs. They wear hair nets, beer nets. They wear gloves, and that as soon as they cross in out of the production side, if they are to leave the building, they have to change back into street clothes. Their shoes never leave their locker. So any spore, mold spore, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So we do our best to limit that so it never affects the quality of our product. Any type of infestation of mold or even little bugs, microscopic bugs, they're a detriment to the health of our plants.
Yeah.
So we take it really serious. It's our business.
Yeah.
My question was going to be, would you and I have to wear a hairnet?
We don't.
We
We're
don't.
clear.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
we're
yours get a little
exempt.
long there on the sides. Yeah, I mean.
I'm shaving tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm every 3 days.
Every 3
Yeah.
There you go. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of effort, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. People think it's
People
easy.
think, this is. I wish I went. Yeah, but
I'm
unfortunately,
tempted.
the comb over was
I'm
getting
tempted.
bad.
Kate says no. I'm tempted, Kate.
Well, you do need
Oh,
a haircut, Joe. Those
I-
sideburns are
you
looking
have
like
no
Elvis Presley.
idea. No,
He
worse.
looks like Elvis Presley.
Ebenezer Scrooge. I haven't had a day off. And if I have a day off, I want to be with my honey. So,
She can cut it.
well, no, I will talk about that off camera. You know what happened to my razor? It got dull.
I could tell.
Yeah. We won't talk about it on there. It's not appropriate.
It's not appropriate.
Are there any other facilities that you're involved with that have any kind of marijuana things?
Yeah, so Happy Valley's footprint here in Mass consists of another retail location in East Boston, right on McClellan Highway. If you're familiar, it's just outside of the airport on 1A. The Courtyard Marriott would be something that many of us might recognize driving into Logan Airport. So we're right on the right hand. We're right on Chelsea Creek.
Oh, I
So
was,
we're
I was
heading.
there
We're on,
today.
yeah, so it's a great
Marginal
location.
Street? Margin? All right.
No, it's right. It's called William McClellan Highway. We're right on the highway.
Where
Oh, wow.
Enterprise.
We have, I don't know how many
Yeah.
thousands of cars drive by that every day.
Oh,
but
yeah. Was Enterprise? I think there was.
It was an Enterprise car rental place.
Yeah,
That's where we
yeah.
are.
Oh, wow.
That's our store location, and
Yeah.
we've been hung up in the city of Boston through their process, their permitting process. But at some point, we'll get to open that store, and we're excited about that. We have another location under control in the city of Boston in Brighton. It's at it's on Beacon Street there, and that is got a long road ahead of it to get permitted. And then we have another large cultivation and production facility that we'll be bringing online next year. It's 100,000 square feet
Ooh.
in Newburyport.
Newburyport.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that
That's a tremendous investment.
Yeah, so it's making a massive investment here in Mass. We think that the market here is going to grow to $2 billion in the state, and the facility not only in Gloucester but the one in Newburyport, both of them were built to cross state lines
Nice.
and have product delivered in a federally legal market throughout this entire area of the country.
Have you started growing already? Are there plants growing right now?
Yes, sir. I have one cured and packaged for you right
Oh,
here.
here now. I tell you, I love the packaging. It is beautiful. It's so classy and everything else. And I like that that's the image for the one that's in Gloucester.
Yeah.
We're not some kind of like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with hippies, but I'm just saying we have a upscale,
Store.
ours is upscale. This is
Store.
it. Yeah, we're going
So
up.
I'm assuming that your clientele will range from people who maybe have never tried it before to people who use it on a regular basis. So they come into the store. For the person who's never used it before, the casual user, what is their experience like?
Yeah,
You
so
have people
that's
there-
where the training of our host, that's what we're calling our sales staff that's going to be out there on the showroom floor to help every customer who comes in. It's their responsibility to sell each and every customer the right experience. So somebody who's been consuming daily for 20 plus years, they typically walk in, they're looking to be directed to exactly what they're looking for. And so that sales process for that host is going to be a much different than, say, my mom, who's 71 years old, comes in and hasn't consumed cannabis in 20 years just because she hasn't.
Right.
But she's older, she's having trouble sleeping, she's got pain, she doesn't want to smoke. What is the right product for me?
Right.
Well, then we have a host who can verbalize exactly what are the options are that are most appropriate for my mom.
Right.
We also have technology and touch screens, like basically very, very large iPads, that will walk you through a series of questions about what you're looking to accomplish with cannabis. And it'll then spit out an answer to you of what products we recommend in our store.
Brilliant.
It's really, really cool technology. So we've invested in that as well.
Yeah.
We've also invested, and we're the first cannabis company in our industry to do its own app.
Oh!
Oh my God!
I saw it!
That's the again! He is our good luck charm!
Sorry.
Oh my God, I'm telling you! Oh my God, it's fucking,
It's like, what happened?
it's a fucking marijuana miracle! That's what it is! We just had a hummingbird. We had that goddamn
He hasn't seen one.
2 years. I've been trying to get a goddamn hummingbird.
I saw it. I'm here to confirm.
You saw it.
That's
Oh,
what I thought.
God.
Yeah, you saw it.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, folks.
Oh,
This is
this is
breaking
monumental. You don't
Yeah.
even understand for me.
But I was here for it.
You just, well, it's a marijuana miracle. That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's
Oh my God. Oh, I'm so happy. Right
So
now.
where were we?
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
We were
yeah.
talking about the right experience for my mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we have technology inside the store to help with that as well. And we have an app that was the first app in our industry. We've invested in, it's proprietary, and it's really great. It's a way for those of us, including myself, who's still in the process of trying different genetics, to then journal what happened experience-wise for us after we had the product. So it brings up your sales history.
Right.
You can go to the product you chose,
Wow.
and then we'll ask you a series from a chat bot. You don't even have to type anything because you're high, right? You ain't got to try and describe your experience. We made it really easy for you. It gives you a series of questions. You select what you're feeling at that time. Are you feeling happy? You feeling creative?
Paranoid.
Yeah, that could be. That is one of them. Are you
Yeah.
feeling anxious?
Yeah.
Are you feeling lighter?
Mm.
You know, there's uplifted. You know, there's all these series of questions, and the whole thing is hey, we are trying to help you unlock the right experience. Unlock your experience, and we're trying, and because we want happy customers who have good experiences, and everybody has a different experience with cannabis.
Yeah.
I like something different than what you like because cannabis is a unique plant. There's unique compounds and molecules inside it that interact with us, each and every one of us, differently. It feels different
Like
receptors.
perfume.
It's very different. It's a personal preference, and you're gonna have to. We can steer you in the right direction, but from there, you're gonna have to
narrow it down.
You're gonna have to figure out what's right for you.
Yeah.
I may or may not have had experiences in my youth that led me to smoke some marijuana and fall directly asleep in 2 minutes.
And that's me. And so you know why that
You
happened?
don't need to consume any to fall asleep.
I could like literally.
But that is actually really common. It was actually one of the reasons why, my cannabis consumption in my early 20s wasn't a preferred method of trying to catch a buzz because of what you just described. And really bad marijuana that has been sitting around and basically it's old,
Yeah.
which is, I think, primarily most of what I purchased. It actually degrades into a molecule known as CBN. THC degrades over time to a molecule called CBN, and CBN is lights out.
There you go.
And so there are companies coming online, and you'll see this in the industry, in the future of the industry. CBD will probably be replaced by CBN.
Wow.
But the problem with CBN is there's really no. You have to grow your cannabis and then let it age.
Yeah.
So, but somebody at some point will invest in it. Maybe it'll be us. But CBN is probably what.
I know there are some people that really would like to be able to sleep.
But cannabis absolutely produces, genetics, and there's products that we have in our store that will definitely has had a lot of positive results for people trying to get good rest, myself included.
So I've heard people say, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there's like two different types. There's the sativa and like the indica.
There are. So there are basically nowadays in 2020, everything's a hybrid.
Oh, really? Okay.
But they lean towards a sativa or they lean towards an indica. There's very few genetics being grown in our industry that are 100% indica or 100% sativa. Most of them are hybrid, just from genetics being, bred for so many years now.
What are the characteristics of each?
So an indica, typically, an indica would produce a more relaxing, calming experience, where a sativa would produce a more creative head high, more of that uplifting, more of that energy type high, whereas the indica leads to a more relaxing, almost drowsy, sometimes.
So in my case, because I'm already sleepy 90% of the time anyway, I would want to go. I would want to lean towards the sativa.
There's your answer.
There you go.
You found the answer.
There you go. So in the store, what types of products will be offered?
So we'll have the full menu of all of our cannabis products, which will have flower in 1 gram sizes. We'll have flower in 3.5 gram sizes, also known as an eighth. We'll have pre-rolls, which are pre-rolled joints. We'll sell those as singles. We'll also sell them in variety packs. And this variety packs will have joint sizes that are either 0.5 gram or 1 gram. So you get 5 0.5 grams. But the really great part about that variety pack is we're going to give you 5 different types of cannabis genetics in that variety pack. So you can sample.
I see what you like.
Yeah, see what you like. So
And if you use the app, you can take notes.
You can take notes. You got it. You can journal. You can
Oh,
journal.
blammy.
Yeah.
Well, they do this with wine.
You're right,
No, they
right.
do
That's
this
a good
with,
point.
like, there are wine companies that ship wine and stuff like that, and they say, oh, write your notes, and then you can tailor it to what you would like.
You
And
do
we're
it with your
doing-
Coors Light, don't you?
And tomorrow we're going to be doing, some discounts over over this opening weekend.
Whoa.
It's
Yeah.
with taxes included. It'll be $10 pre-rolls. That's about almost half price here in the state. $10 out the door with taxes. So
Hello.
if you're a medical patient, it'd be even less than $10 because you wouldn't have any taxes in that.
So you're encouraging people to come down for tomorrow's grand opening.
We want as many people as possible.
Let's go.
How many people can fit in the store?
How
I
many?
guess pre-COVID?
So we have a limitation now with occupancy, but we're going to have some music playing outside. We're going to have refreshments available. We're going to end up, we are going to be highly efficient inside processing if we are busy and have a lot of people coming on site. But we're capable of handling in a max scenario 2,000 transactions in a day.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see if how many people will show up.
So I'm sorry, when you say 2,000 transactions, that's how much product you have?
No. I mean like we can handle like the time it takes for a customer to actually just get processed.
I see.
Come in, shop, and then leave with their product. And then taking into account that we'll have some people that will order in advance because we're going to open up online ordering at 12:01 a.m. and that's same day online ordering.
Oh wow! So the people that order tonight at 12:01, will they have like a priority line?
They will get a time. They get to choose the time frame of which they'd like to come pick up their product. When they show up during that time frame, they're going straight to the front of the line because they're showing up for their time frame.
Wow!
Is that just for COVID, or will that be?
That's forever.
Definitely.
That's forever.
That's great.
Yeah, that's forever, and it's a convenience thing. It's an express. It's an express line.
Yeah.
If you know what you want, you go ahead and order it online, and we'll have it waiting for you.
So what is the difference in products that will be available to, like, say me, Joe Shimataro, versus someone that has a medical card?
So every product that's available to a recreational adult use customer is, by state law, required to be made available to patients. So everything on the menu is available to both patients and customers. The only difference is patients who have a medical marijuana card here in Mass, they have certain products that have higher doses. So they can get a more potent edible. And it's important for certain patients who are going through chemotherapy, as an example, they need a more potent edible. And so the state allows us to make it more potent. So an example would be we could have an edible with a 100 milligram dose for a patient, whereas under the regulations for adult use customers, that dose is limited to 5 milligrams.
Wow, 20 times more.
Yeah, so so that's an example. We can do the same thing with the tinctures. Tinctures are the drops that you put into your mouth.
I was going to ask you what that was.
Yeah.
Is there anything like a Reese's peanut butter cup type thing?
Well, we have wonderful chocolate. We
have.
have tremendous chocolate. It's probably one of my favorite products that we produced out of the kitchen so far.
Ding ding.
Are they
ding,
flavors?
Ding.
We have a dark chocolate and a milk chocolate, but the difference is we are tempering our chocolate, buying high quality chocolate,
Really?
tempering it, then infusing it and homogenizing it with pure distillate, THC and CBD, and it's really, really special product.
That's interesting.
My advice to you is two chocolate squares, and 2 hours later you're gonna have a wonderful 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep straight.
Yeah, I don't do it. So maybe.
The funniest thing I've heard all day. No, I know that's true. I know. Very, very good. This is an informational session for you.
What's that?
This is an informational session for you.
I'm here to support local businesses.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. 100%.
But no, your website, what I thought was cool is you even have a playlist, like music.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, now this is pretty cool, is you can, look at different products and you can also play music.
Yeah, we
it
thought we
looked
were
like
having
really
some
cool.
Yeah, we were having some fun with that and just trying to make it multi-genre and see if customers dig it.
Yeah.
Is it Spotify? Because then you
I don't know
can share, right?
what powers that your music.
Spotify.
Spotify.
It's
Yes.
going to be Spotify, but isn't.
Spotify is taking over the world.
It is taking over. I know. I have a lot of friends that have Spotify things, and we'll be on the boat, and they'd be like, oh, it's, and I love like the whole playlist, and they're
Yeah.
like, and then they just share it. It's like the simplest thing ever.
Yeah.
We'll link in the show notes to the website too,
Yeah.
because I think the number one thing right now, because it's probably going to be huge, is if you can order at 12:01 tonight,
Right.
then you're crazy not to, because
Right.
then you reserve your spot, and then you can just hang out and enjoy the music,
Right.
right?
And that app you talked about, do you have to become a customer first in order to access the app?
No, you can download the app right now
Okay.
from the App Store, or from if you have an Android, from that store as well.
Okay.
So it's available on both types of smartphones
Platforms.
platforms. Yeah.
So
So
the app is where you do the ordering, or the website?
The website is where you do the ordering.
Okay.
From. That's correct.
Okay.
so can you go down the list of, so there's marijuana desserts, right? So like there's chocolates, is there brownies?
There's no brownies. There's no baked goods at all. So we're doing gummies and chocolates
Gummies and
and
chocolates.
hard candies. Hard candies are going to be rolled out not for the opening day menu, but within the first 30 days of our opening. So that's going to be our edibles line for now. We'll expand on that product offering, here in the future, but that's what we're going to start with now. The flavor profiles of the gummies range from a citrus pack of tangerine, lime, and lemon, and then strawberry and watermelon as well. They're really, really good. Tasty. You can't even taste any of the cannabis oil in it. Then we have, like I said, we have the tinctures, and then the tinctures is a pure oil drop that we also do with an infusion with both THC only and THC 1-to-1 ratio with CBD. So that's more of a wellness product. It's not going to be an intense high at all. It's going to be a well-rounded, mild buzz that is relaxing and not intense.
Yeah. So the
I'm ready to get my
consumption.
checkbook out right now. I'm like, let's go.
So then we have, obviously, the other thing that I'm really excited about is we have invested in what's known as solventless technology. And solventless is a way of extracting the cannabis plant without using any solvents like CO2 extraction or hitting it with ethanol. We're not doing any. We also have a lab dedicated solely to mechanical separation of the plant to produce really, really, really unique products. That one of them I'm sure you all heard of is called hash. Hash has been around for centuries, but we're doing water bubble hash, and it's done at extremely cold temperatures, and it produces a very, very, very high grade of hash, and it's very potent, some of it, and it's absolutely, true connoisseurs of the cannabis plant typically end up in solventless products because they consider that product to have been the perfect essence of the plant that we extracted out. And what we're extracting out are known as trichome heads. Now I'm getting really science on you, man.
Tricone head.
Trichome.
Trichome head.
Trichome. So and that's what, and so we have hash. So we'll take this process and we'll do the bubble hash, and then things get really fun. So we take this really, really high quality hash, but that's not good enough. So now we're going to then press it through 2 plates under extreme pressure and create another product known as hash rosin.
Hash rosin.
And these are really, really unique products, and people will be coming from all over the state and the whole area to come try these products because it's a very, very specific craft and technique that's required to produce these products. We're going to have hash, we're going to have rosin, and then we're also taking that rosin and we're further refining it into an actual, what we call a sauce. We're going to take that sauce and then we put it into a vape cart. Now you get one of the most unique products that our industry has ever offered, and we're doing it right here out of Gloucester. So I'm pretty excited about all these solventless products. There's going to be some real marijuana cannabis connoisseurs coming to Gloucester for those products, and they're really, really, really good.
I think someone should open.
But they're also not for my mom.
Yeah.
They're not for a novice.
Right.
Right.
And it's not the right product for a novice or someone returning to cannabis to have. It takes many years to actually build up the right, I would not only just tolerance, because there is a tolerance that develops with THC, but just the right palate. It's really a palate. Like you have to really want to
I know
wanna
some
experience.
fishermen. I know some fishermen that definitely.
Neat.
No, I
Need
definitely
some
know
of
But
some
this.
fishermen that have
it's
this
a
palate.
very flavorful. It's the most robust, flavorful profiles that you can have. Is by consuming, hash and rosin.
And also, as
It's
I'm listening to
it's what we call a full spectrum experience.
Hmm.
Because it's really, really great.
When you mentioned flour, so is the flour you use it in like you would in baking, or am I missing something? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a novice. I don't
Joe's
know.
never done marijuana.
Flour is the FLOWER.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
flour.
bud.
I'm
The
sorry.
bud.
So the green
He's
buds,
thinking
Yeah,
forty,
yeah.
so
the
I'm-
green buds are
I
flowers.
was into this bake. I was making bread all winter during the COVID. I was like, dude, I'm
He's
like,
like,
I can make
"Now
cannabis
I can
bread.
make marijuana bread.
I'm
It's
so
not a bad
stupid.
idea.
I'm sorry.
You-
Such a novice.
but that flower is the green buds.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aren't there chefs out there? The last question I had was around the future of THC and marijuana. I mean, it's come a long way, but in drinks, food, I've heard that there are some chefs out there that specialize in a very professional way using THC. I mean, what do you think?
I've because I've been in the industry for a while. I've gone to cannabis infused 6-course meals.
Really?
And it is out there. I have never had any experience, good or bad, from any of these 7-course cannabis infused,
Yeah. Okay.
5-star chef meals.
Yeah.
I didn't taste anything
Okay.
in the infusion, and
Okay.
I didn't get high.
Feel it.
I didn't have an experience either.
Okay.
But it is going on. It's not it's more of a boutique thing. I don't think it's ever really going to get a whole lot of mainstream, share of what people want to do with their restaurants.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my final question. My final question is, the complete novice, the casual 4 or 5 times a year user, and the professional. Like, what do you think was the number one seller? If you're in those 3 categories, what would you suggest?
Well, I think one of the things that I think gets a little bit confusing is people need to understand that when you consume an edible, you're metabolizing THC. And when you metabolize THC, it actually changes into a different molecule called hydroxy-11, and it can lead to different experiences for people. It's a very personal experience when you consume an edible. There's no way for us to predict what the right dose is for you, other than we recommend that you start with just the 5 milligram dose. But some people just inherently might need more than that to have an experience. And so edibles is really for everyone, just needs to figure out if that's the right product for them, no matter how many years you've been consuming. I can only tell you one thing: our edibles are perfectly infused with the highest and purest form of THC oil, or if it's blended with THC and CBD. So it's a very consistent experience. So every time you take one little chocolate square, it's right on the money, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think that they're also, you're not inhaling anything. So a lot of people gravitate to those gummies when they're new to cannabis. It's also something that they've actually had before in their life. They've had a chocolate before. They've had a gummy before.
Yeah.
So a lot of people gravitate to that, and then it depends on how that experience goes. The number one seller across all customers, in our store will be marijuana.
Really?
Flour, not flour.
FLOWER.
I may be
Sorry.
proven wrong there, but I do believe that the flower will be the number one seller, and then like I said, those that have significant experience with the plant, I'll call connoisseurs. A lot of them gravitate to the more specialized and technique-driven products that we're putting out of Gloucester here, and that's going to be the hash, the rosin, and our terpene-infused distillate oil. These are highly difficult products to achieve, and especially to achieve them at the level that we have, and they're really fantastic. And I think over time here, as people get to experience them here and out of the store here in Gloucester, and then elsewhere when we get them on shelves in other stores, they're going to really grab market share in a rapid manner here in the state, because they are very good. The last thing that I think will be really popular are the pre-rolls. Our pre-rolls are the best I've had here in the state, and they're the best for a reason. It's pure ground flower. We don't have any trim, and don't have any of the other parts of the plant that end up in a lot of other pre-rolls here in the industry. None of that is allowed. We don't cut any corners at Happy Valley. Everything's about the quality of the product. And so the quality of the product must meet brand standards at all times, and that goes all the way down to pre-rolls. Pre-rolls have developed as a way of getting rid of the non-attractive parts of the cannabis flower, and then grinding it up and putting it into a pre-roll, and then people would smoke it and it didn't taste very well, right?
Like a hot dog.
And they didn't have a great experience. It's like a hot dog. It's like a hot dog. We got great hot dogs in Happy Valley.
Assholes and lips.
So it's not a hot dog experience.
Not a hot dog experience.
It's maybe more like a bratwurst, maybe.
A bratwurst. Yeah.
But no, and it's a great way to figure out, in return to cannabis, or to just try different genetics. But pure ground flower pre-rolls I think are going to be really popular as well.
I've never tried a gummy. My first gummy, I'm going to make a vow right here. My first gummy that I'm going to try is going to come out of Happy Valley.
It's going to be Happy Valley.
Yeah. I'm 12:01. I'm going to set my alarm tonight. And I'm getting on the thing, and I'm going to order one. Because I believe in this company. Because
Joe's going to be the first customer.
When we spoke before we started recording, when he was telling us how much regulation and how many hoops that they had to go through, it instilled a level of confidence in me, and a level of comfort, because I'm not a marijuana user. I don't eat gummies or anything like that. Right. But I could see how it could benefit my life. Yeah. So I'm excited to try it. Yeah.
Mike, if people want to learn more about Happy Valley, what's your website?
It's happyvalley.org.
Happyvalley.org.
Okay, remember that.
Happyvalley.org.
All right.
Nice.
Anything that you'd like to add in closing? Oh, and would you rather people go to the website or Facebook, or what's the best thing for people to check out?
Any of our social media accounts or the website. That website's going to have the most information as it relates to what we have available in the store, talks about the products, so on and so forth.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I'm
glad the hummingbird. I was here for the hummingbird. The marijuana miracle.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you guys.
All right. Appreciate it.